more about Nigeria's markets. At this time, we're looking at the forex market. Yesterday, we were talking about the fixed income, but let's take a little bit deeper look into the the forex market and a little bit of the fixed income markets. And we have Ebube Uneze, a forex dealer with Access Bank, to tell us more about this and what to expect, especially within this tariff era that we're in. Thank you for joining us, Ebube.
Thank you for having me, Annette. It's good to see you, and a happy new month.
Happy new month. Okay, so now it's everywhere. I think this is just the #1 story on the lips across all markets, even crypto markets. But you were talking about the crypto, the forex market. Now, this tariff announcement by Donald Trump, what impact could it have on Nigeria's fixed income market, in particular when you look at the forex markets?
All right, thank you very much for having me. So yesterday, we saw the Trump administration announce a blanket reciprocal tariff on several trading partners of the U.S., and this has far-reaching implications for several countries. For the Nigerian fixed income space, there's a possibility that the global risk-off sentiment could result in a potential outflow of capital from our local fixed income securities to safe haven assets such as gold, yen, and euro, as we are beginning to see investors avoid U.S.-denominated assets as countries and investors begin to look at ways to decouple from the U.S. economy. So we expect that, or the general expectation is that we may begin to see outflow of capital from our fixed income market, and that will also be having impact on the FX market. However, this will largely be mitigated if the central bank continues to maintain its hawkish stance and ensuring that investors continue to get those attractive yields on local fixed income securities.
Okay, so now in about 2 weeks less from now, we will be expecting the March inflation numbers to come in, and that has a way of affecting both the fixed income market in particular. But what are your expectations, particularly in the month of April and the second quarter, for inflation and other factors that might affect the fixed income and the forex markets?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. So last month we saw inflation figures taper down from January figures. However, for this month, there are some inflationary drivers which have a potential to either keep inflation sticky, and this is particularly on energy prices. So we saw the Dangote refinery announce over last month that they were going to suspend selling petroleum products to Nigerian marketers in Naira as a result of the suspension of the Naira for crude deal with the NNPC. As such, in most of the pump stations today, we are seeing PMS retail at 930 Naira to a liter, an uptick from the 860, 880 Naira to a liter levels. So this has a potential to drive inflation up. We also note that there's a potential, as we are just coming out from the long Ramadan season, and as such, farming activities was a bit reduced. So this also has a potential to also result in higher inflation figures. So our expectations for inflation figures going into the month of April is that they should be sticky, and as such, we still expect the central bank to not take to not turn its stance to a dovish stance. As such, they will still slightly keep rates elevated as they continue to watch those inflation numbers and see how they impact. In terms of the impact of the global tariff saga on Nigeria, we don't expect to see a lot of pass-through effect to the Nigerian economy. But we'll still continue to watch this space and see how the central bank continues to respond to it. But the general short-term expectation is that money market rates will continue to be at elevated levels. On the FX market, general expectation is that we should have a relatively stable month, especially against the backdrop of the announcement by the central bank of the net foreign exchange reserve numbers for 2024. That has, in a sort of way, put silence to a lot of the chatter around the net foreign exchange numbers for the central bank. So we expect that these developments should result in a largely stable month in the FX market this month.
Okay, so now I'm glad you mentioned that foreign exchange, the exchange rate and the performance. But we would like to know at intraday, as I have it now, the dollar index has fallen to a 5-month low. So what is the intraday activities for the fixed income market and the forex market? How are they responding to this drop in the dollar index?
Thank you very much for that question. So in the FX markets, we are still seeing rates are still hovering around between 1530, 1540 levels, and there's been relative stability. We are not seeing a lot of volatility on the spot FX market. In terms of the dollar index, while that is an indication of an appreciation of other currencies against the dollar, and this is as a result of the tariff announcement by the Trump administration. For Nigeria, what it has done for us is that we've seen relative stability and a slight appreciation. Opening the day yesterday, from the trading session, we saw the Naira appreciate a bit from last week levels to 1529 levels, and this morning or today intraday is moving around 1530, 1535 levels. So we'll continue to watch these developments and see how the market reacts to some of these data as it comes through.
Thank you so much for that analysis on the show. And of course, this tariff, I just hope it doesn't go as worse than we expect, but that's just an expectation. Thank you so much for your time on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.